One of the things that the casual viewer of Japan and Japanese history needs to be reminded of when you see these images is Japan had a war going on in China. We think of World War II, we Americans, as starting with Pearl Harbor and ending in 1945 in August. But Japan, for some time, had been on the continent through much of the 30s and was on war footing. So it wasn't unusual to see soldiers. But Koizumi, to my knowledge, was the first artist who didn't disguise this. Of course, other artists did military parades, the emperor on parade on his white horse. But this part of the city, when you walk around, if you go past Meiji Shrine, or if you go toward the headquarters of the 3rd Regiment, very famous because of imperial membership in it and because of some of their forays and their political attitudes. You see the firing range. You see soldiers attending festivals, which is kind of interesting. They're part of the mix.
I think it's important that people that are looking at this period of Tokyo and Japan keep in mind that when you do standard histories of Japan, you talk about they come out of the earthquake and they're rebuilding and they're reconstructing a new place. And then in 1931, they have what's called the Manchurian Incident, and the military starts to become very aggressive in China. And then most histories will then say, okay, now here's our chapter, Japan and the Road to War. And they will start in 1931, and the discussions will be of militarism. And then in 1937, when Koizumi is still doing this, and when that self-portrait comes 1 year later, he's still doing this city, is the so-called China Incident, an open war between Japan and China, open Japanese aggression in China. 1937 is when the rape of Nanking takes place. But Koizumi keeps doing his image. And after 37, as historians, we can see the military clamps down. But if you do the kind of art history, social history, cultural history, that visualizing Tokyo or visualizing Japan through the record enables us to do, life is going on. There's a whole other world. It's like the United States. It may be at war elsewhere, but life goes on at home. And that isn't all-consuming. And the artists themselves, like Koizumi, are pursuing their careers. They're wandering a city. They're giving us these pictures. So while Japan is becoming militarized and is doing atrocities in Asia, people at home are still struggling to keep their own lives. They're struggling to keep a normal, non-militarized life going. And it isn't until the late 30s that you can really see the clamps tightening up. And for years, for 3-4 years after open war and aggression in China, wandering the city, trying to maintain a normal life, and seeing a civilian life.